Welcome to CampusInsiders.com. I am Seth Davis, and we are recapping the 2013 NBA Pre-Draft Combine. And if you're going to talk about the NBA draft, there is no better person to talk about it with than Jonathan Givony. He is the tour de force behind DraftExpress.com and a man very much in demand this time of year, so really appreciate you joining us here at Campus Insiders. We were both at the NBA Draft Combine. What's your number one overall observation based on what you saw, what you heard?
Just what a tremendous waste of time this whole thing seems to be.
All right, goodbye, everybody.
I mean, what we're analyzing here are all the things that really don't matter. I hear scouts talking about how hard one player hit the bag over another, whose chest pass was the prettiest. The NBA has a real problem right now because they had a 5-on-5 format for many years. None of the players wanted to participate, mostly because of the agents, and now they're doing this combine, and I think they're already studying all the things that that distract you more than really matter in terms of who's going to be a good pro or not.
All right, let's show everybody your top 5 picks. You've done a top 100. Of course, you maintain this all season long, all year long. I don't know how you do it. Nerlens Noel, Ben McLemore, Anthony Bennett, Victor Oladipo, and Trey Burke. So those are your top 5. Is Nerlens Noel the slam dunk number 1 pick? Or is there maybe a chance that somebody like a McLemore can jump in and get to that number 1 spot?
Well, first of all, a big part of what happens here in Chicago is the medicals. And so the NBA's doctors are going to look very thoroughly at his knee and the surgery and what the likelihood of him returning to 100%. So that's going to play a big factor. That report is I think it's going to be fine, but you never know. So it's hard to say until then.
If he clears medical, what percentage chance, if he clears medical, is he the number 1 pick?
I really think it depends who has the pick, honestly. Mm-hmm. I think that there could be trades happening. I mean, I think if you see a team like Detroit, for example, all of a sudden ends up with the number 1 pick, they already have Andre Drummond. I don't think they need Nerlens, so I think maybe they look at a point guard, maybe they look at a Trey Burke. So I think it's pretty open still.
Okay. I'm always more interested in the second round than the first because that, to me, distinguishes NBA teams and how smart they are and how good they are. And my favorite example currently is Draymond Green, who was the 5th pick in the second round last year. Everybody, was up in arms that he slipped out of the first, but he ends up at a team at Golden State that used him well. So I think he was better off going in the second round than in the first to a team that wasn't going to use him. So let's look at some second round guys. Give me some potential Draymond Green types who could be solid rotation players, if not starters, on a good to a playoff type team in the NBA.
Well, I think Nate Walter has really helped himself in Chicago. He measured out really well. Just looking at the group of 10 point guards, he was, he phenomenal size. He towered over everybody.
It's a small group height-wise, right?
It really is.
Guys
with guys like Isaiah Cannon, Pierre Jackson, they're under 6 feet. He comes in at 6'4", and just creating his own shot, shooting the ball really well. He's a guy at South Dakota State. You say, okay, he's a mid-major, but he steps on the floor, and he could have played for anybody. There's no doubt about it, and I think he's really helped himself.
How about a guy like Deshawn Thomas? You got him projected now as around middle of the second round, 13th pick. That surprised me. I mean, he was a big-time scorer at Ohio State. Maybe not a great pure long-range shooter, but I have a hard time believing that he's not going to be able to score some at the next level.
I think he will. I think teams have a little bit of a hard time with him. They don't know, is he a small forward? Is he a power forward? Who is he going to guard? What kind of rebounder is he? That kind of thing. But you're right, the guy can score, and I think that there's value in that in the NBA, and that's why I think he'll be on a roster.
A lot's going to change potentially between now and the draft. Give me a player who maybe you think you would mark as somebody who could go down, either because he hurt himself in Chicago or because of the vagaries of the draft, could find himself maybe leaving the first round into the second, maybe dropping on your board.
Yeah. Archie Goodwin is the youngest college player in this draft. He's 18 years old. We have to keep that in mind. But he really could not make a basket here in Chicago. Really struggled with his outside shot, and he looks like he's a long ways away from being able to contribute. And with some of the other 2 guards helping themselves, guys like Caldwell Pope or Alan Crabb, or even our European guy like Sergei Karasev, I think that could hurt him and maybe cause him to fall to the end of the first round, or maybe even out of the first round, potentially.
Yeah, I think it's a great call. I'm not a big Archie Goodwin guy. I look at somebody like a Tim Hardaway Jr., who's projected mid to late second round. I'm thinking, if I want one of those guys as my two guard, I think I would go with Hardaway Jr. But fortunately, I don't run an NBA team, so I can say whatever I want, and I'm never wrong. That's the virtues of television. Jonathan Gavoni, DraftExpress.com for all of your NBA draft coverage. Thanks for being with us here on Campus Insiders, and keep it here at CampusInsiders.com. We've got all of your NBA draft coverage, all of your college basketball coverage, everything about college sports right here on CampusInsiders.com.